Welcome back to another episode of Sal and Pals Go to the Movies. This is another Throwback Thursday review, and making his return is my friend Touly. Say hi, Touly.
Hi, guys.
So today we're going to be reviewing A Christmas Story from 1983. And just a fair warning, there's going to be spoilers up ahead, so you've been warned. In the 1940s, a young boy named Ralphie attempts to convince his parents, his teacher, and Santa Claus that a Red Ryder BB gun really is the perfect Christmas gift. For the cast and all the information, click on the link below. Let's start this review off by going down my pros and cons. What I liked about this movie was fairly short. This is the kind of length that we like, about an hour and a half. What I liked about this movie was that it was narrated by the older Ralphie talking about what he grew up with. And to me, this is the kind of movies that I really like. It's almost like if you're sitting around fireplace with your grandfather and he's telling you stories when he was growing up. And the whole concept about this kid trying to convince his parents and everybody that the gift he wants is the one for Christmas, I think touches home with me, because who hasn't been in that spot that says, I really want this, but just my parents don't understand how bad I want it. If I only had it, it's something that you are so convinced that if you had this, the whole world would actually fall into place. So we have a bunch of characters here in this movie. Everybody is living in their own world. It's the adults who are revolving around the kid's world. So we're seeing from the points of view of the kid, things that they do, things that happens in school and stuff like that. Now let's go to the cons. My biggest con in the movie is that sometimes some of the acting kind of looks like it was a little forced. I'm not saying that it happens a lot, but it just seems that sometimes the characters are just a little too goofy in a sense, like they're trying too hard. But most of the movie was fairly nice. My other thing is that I really wanted to see Randy play more of a part. We just saw him just being there. In a sense, he's just a third character. This movie to me seemed like it was a well-rounded movie, and I really especially enjoy how The Simpsons presented this to me at first. When I was growing up, I saw a Simpsons episode when we see Maggie as Randy with the suit and she looks like a star. That Simpsons episode played on The Christmas Story as Bart wanted a toy for Christmas and everything. So to me, once I saw The Simpsons, I laughed at it, and then my cousins were watching. They're like, well, that's based off a movie. And I never really understood what movie they were talking about until I started growing up. And then people started referencing The Christmas Story and the BB gun. So that does it for my review. Now let's throw it to Touly to see how he saw the movie and what grade he gave the movie.
Yeah, so in a lot of ways, I feel the same way about this film. Did bring back a lot of nostalgic feelings, because I also did feel the emotions of wanting something as a kid, either for Christmas or, birthday, or at any given point, wanting it so bad that you would try to convince your parents to get it for you, or whomever really, whether it was your favorite uncle, your aunt, or your grandma, your grandpa, just trying to get them to give you that particular gift. So I could definitely understand where Ralphie was coming from. And I also enjoyed the pacing of the film. It was around an hour and a half, which is normally my preferred length of a film, given the sort of theme and the storytelling that they were going after. My favorite two characters in this film was actually Ralphie and the adult Ralphie, who was played by Gene Shepard. He was the narrator voicing over the kid Ralphie while he was going around experiencing the events that were transpiring around him. It just made it comical, at least to me, and made me even understand a lot more what Ralphie was thinking. There were very little moments where I didn't know where Ralphie was coming from, because he was actually explaining what he was going through, whether he was going to get in trouble, or how excited he was when he received the decoder item, which is another thing that I can relate to, growing up, having things like that where you feel like you're like a secret agent, or like you're part of society that only you can break this code or whatever. So, and the father as well, with all of his swearing, where Ralphie got it from, which led him to blurt that secret word later in the film. Also being the one who got Ralphie the gift. The mother was, of course, really resistant at the idea of Ralphie owning a BB gun, but the dad too kind of understand where Ralphie was coming from, because he owned a BB gun when he was a kid. So again, I liked how they were able to kind of get to that point despite the struggle that Ralphie went through the entire film. And of course, I can't go without saying that lamp leg got me laughing as well. The first time I saw it, I was like confused. It's like, what is this thing? But seeing Ralphie react to it as a kid and looking at it in that adult sort of way, again, it just made me chuckle. In terms of what I did not like about the film, it's kind of hard for me to say in a way, because again, it was more of a nostalgic trip, relating to all these events that transpired in front of me. I couldn't really pick out something that I was kind of bummed about. I would only say, and I'm not sure if this is a good or bad thing, but the film felt more like a bunch of episodes episodes put together or a bunch of moments put together versus it being a continual series of shots that made it into a film, if that makes any sense. I could kind of see this movie if, in like episodes really, like, and not in a full film. But like I said, I don't think that really is a bad thing. But if I were to point something that sort of stood out to me in that sort of department, I would say it's that. But overall, I really like the film. And for anybody who grew up really wanting something as badly as Ralphie did, which oddly enough is something that I'm going through currently as well in relationship to a particular video game that I want right now, but it's out of stock. I'm going through the same experience as Ralphie did. But fortunately, I was able to get my order placed this morning before Sal called me up for this particular podcast. So like Ralphie at the end, I was overjoyed, but hopefully I don't shoot myself in the eye. So with that said, I would give this film at the minimum a 7 out of 10. I could bump it up to an 8. Like I said, I think it's an easy watch, something you could either have on the background, but every now and again you could sort of, pop your head back in and see what's happening. Because like I said, it's a bunch of series of events that transpired over the course of the film. So, you would sort of get it when you see one of the characters on screen experience what they're experiencing. At one time or another, I feel like either you or somebody have gone through this. I feel like this is the sort of film where you could definitely enjoy watching as a family, and I would highly recommend it as being one of those films that you would put in your Christmas film library.
Funny that you said that this felt like a series of stories. Just a fun fact, Gene Shepard actually wrote a novel called In God We Trust, All Others Pay Cash, which is the source material that you use for this movie. Also, this inspired The Wonder Years, and I don't know about you, but I grew up with the series The Wonder Years, and it's, to me, that made my childhood. So that was kind of an interesting fact that you kind of picked up on that this felt kind of a put together with multiple stories. So with that, I'm going to give it a grade of 8.5 out of 10. I really enjoyed this movie. Like you said, we can pass this on to the next generation. Everybody sees themselves as Ralphie, wanting that specific gift for Christmas, and they go through all the work for that. So that does it for this review of A Christmas Story. Please join us next time when we're going to review It's a Wonderful Life.
I've been nominated for membership in the National Geographic Society.
Is this the year you can't hear on? George Bailey, I'll love you till the day I die.
I'm going out exploring someday. You watch. And I'm going to have a couple of harems and maybe 3 or 4 wives.
Please like, comment, and subscribe. You can find our social media links below. And like always, keep watching movies.